welcome to Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer, your host for the show. We've got a wonderful show for you lined up today, and we greatly appreciate you being a part of it. Jason Tudor. Jason is the president of NOAGE. He'll be our first guest. Darlene Cusanza. She is with Crimestoppers GNO, and everybody knows about Night Out for Crime, and she's going to be talking about some great information that she'll be sharing with you on her event and her activities coming up. Father William Maestri, wonderful friend of ours, a wonderful friend to New Orleans. Father is the director of the Bishop Perry Center, just a wonderful organization. He's going to be sharing some events they have coming up. And then finally, Julia Bland. Julia is the CEO for the Louisiana Children's Museum, just a wonderful organization, a jewel that we have here in New Orleans. And she's going to be talking about some events they have coming up and the big announcements they're getting ready to make. Steve Sawyer, Across Louisiana. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. We greatly appreciate it. We try to get information out on organizations that are in the metro New Orleans area, and our first guest is going to do just that, Jason Tudor. Jason is the president of NOAGE, which is the New Orleans Advocate for LGBT. And Jason, welcome to the show, and I will let you explain what that acronym is.
A lot of letters there.
A lot of letters.
So that's why we just...
A lot of important letters.
Right. We just call ourselves NOAGE. It stands for New Orleans Advocates for Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Transgender, Elderly.
Okay.
It's an organization whose mission is to provide service and support and advocacy for those who are older LGBT, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. Mm-hmm. It's a brand new organization, the first of its kind in the metro area. We are not even launched yet. What we're trying to do is raise awareness about the organization, and for people who are interested in being a part of it, mm-hmm. We are wanting them to join us as members or volunteers.
Okay, and I asked you early on because you're in the process of getting your website done, so contact information. Jason's given his phone number. We're going to put that on the screen, which is 225-326-5098. So if you're interested in being a part of the organization, a volunteer, mm-hmm. or how the organization can help support you, you're welcoming all phone calls to do that. You're president of the board. You actually have a board in place now?
We have a board in place now, and we've actually done some work over the last 2 years to help start raising awareness and to bring people together who are interested in being a part of this, and mm-hmm. that's how we formed the board. Mm-hmm. And the board represents a diversity of organizations and individuals from around the metro area. But primarily, we're going to focus on two things for our first 2 years. The first is going to be cultural competency training. Mm-hmm. And basically what that means is that for organizations that are geared to servicing or providing service for older adults, to make sure that they're aware that LGBT is a population that they are servicing and that they have particular needs that might be a little bit different mm-hmm. than other older adults.
Well, I thought it was interesting that in some of the information provided, 51% of senior centers said they would not be welcoming to LGBT.
And that was a survey provided by the National Council on Aging of all of their senior centers around the country. And the senior center, it was an anonymous survey, and they wanted to just find out how welcoming would they be to an older adult who was openly gay. And 51% said that they would not welcome them. And that is one of the reasons why...
That's not good.
No,
that
it's not good. Because we've got to put aside our personal beliefs and realize that an individual who needs help, they might need a meal, they might need health care, they might need social connectivity because they're isolated. You know, regardless of your idea about their sexual orientation, if it's a public service, they need to be welcomed into that senior center.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we're all human, and we're human beings, and we should take care of each other. And when I saw that, I just thought that is not a good statistic at all because, I mean, in that situation, what would you do? Where would you go?
They have nothing else. The statistics for older LGBT are really dismal. Isolation is a huge problem. Lesbian elderly are 8 times more likely to live in poverty because of many different factors. Older adult LGBT are most likely to have chronic diseases that aren't taken care of because they're scared to talk to their physician. And when they go into nursing homes, that's when oftentimes they go back into the closet in fear of retribution. Wow. We had somebody come up to us recently and said that their uncle, who went into a nursing home in the metro area, was denied services because the nurse found out that he was gay. Wow,
that's not good. I mean, I'm just so sorry to hear things like that. Jason, thank you for what you and your organization are doing. Again, that phone number, we're going to put it on the screen, is 225-326-5098. Jason Tudor, president of NOAGE, New Orleans advocate for LGBT. Again, thank you for what you're doing for the community. We appreciate it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Again, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Crimestoppers. Everybody knows Crimestoppers, and we're so happy to have Darlene Cusanza in with us today. Darlene is the president and CEO of Crimestoppers GNO. Thank you so much for taking time to be on the show.
Thank you.
Guys just do an absolutely phenomenal job. Congratulations on that.
Well,
just briefly, talk about Crimestoppers and what your mission is and a little bit about yourselves.
Right, our mission certainly is to provide citizens a way that they can be proactive in promoting community safety, whether it's coming through with crime tips or information that on planned acts of violence, and all of this of course is done through an anonymous process, or whether it's about learning and empowering ourselves, like with the youth programs that we do, to kind of understand where we can, where we can have a proactive role. And Crimestoppers, is an international organization, and it truly, truly works, which is amazing. Over 14,000 felonies, just in our jurisdiction alone, has been solved through citizens' tips.
That is unbelievable. And do you think now people really have, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I mean in a positive way, that people now have the trust that when I do talk to you, it is anonymous and none of my information is going to be released? Because I think that's the one thing that always kind of prohibits somebody from doing that. And I think I would honestly say your organization is so well known and established that people don't feel that way anymore.
Well, I can tell you just today, I had actually a family member call me about a particular case where their loved one was the perpetrator. And the message they told me was, I trust your organization, I trust you. If I had to call and give information, we would call Crimestoppers. That was the biggest vote of approval that I've ever received. So hopefully people understand it, but we're always cautious to make sure that we continue to push the message that it's truly protected, safe, and anonymous.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, you've got some big events coming up. Let's talk about those real quick.
Well, this is what helps funds the program. So we have two real exciting events in September. Our first one is our Blues Night. This is our second annual concert. We've done with local musicians. It's going to be at House of Blues at 7:30 to 10:30. And this has an array of wonderful musicians. Bobby Rush is leading it off for us again. And we have probably about 12 artists that will come in and perform. They all come in and do little short
New Orleans artists? Or
all New Orleans artists. We have Bobby Rush, Irvin Mayfield, James Andrews, Bruce Sunpie Barnes, Charmaine Neville, Dexter Allen, Blind Dog Smokin' is the house band, David Baptiste and Sons.
Wow.
And many more coming, as every day we're getting more individuals.
Awesome.
Of course, it's food and drinks. Everything's included for the ticket price of $125, and it's at the House of Blues.
That is not bad at all.
So fun.
That is not bad at all
Very
for
fun.
an 8-concert show.
It was unbelievable last year. No one got off the dance floor. So 3 hours. Come prepared.
And then you've got your heroes and hooligans.
Heroes and hooligans. We want you to come dressed up if you'd like. It's a costume optional, but a costume party. And it's like most galas. We have the Wise Guys is our band. Mardi Gras World is location, and ticket price includes all the food and drink that open bar. And we have auctions. We have a live auction and silent auction. So it's the typical have fun. What's different about our events, though, is probably about 50 to 60% of the participants are law enforcement.
Really?
So you really get to meet some great people.
Real hooligans.
Real heroes. And the rest of us hooligans get to meet the heroes. But also, it's an opportunity to kind of just say thank you for what they do.
That is awesome. And Darlene, again, just want to point out, these are fundraisers because you have to have funds to do the work that you do.
Regretfully, we have to have the funds to be able to do what we do. But they've been very well attended in the past. About 700 people at the Carnival.
Phenomenal. That is fun. Darlene, your website is www.crimestoppersgno.org.
Yes.
Before we run out of time, all information on Crimestoppers, the events, everybody knows you from your Night Out Against Crime. All that information can be found on the website.
Absolutely, on the website.
Darlene, thank you so much, not only for the job you guys do, but thank you for taking time to be here today. Please continue to come back and report on the good work that y'all are doing. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana. Just again, so thankful that you're a part of the show. And you know, one of the great things about this show that we try to do is to promote people and organizations that are providing great work and great services for the Metro New Orleans area. And I don't think anybody more than our next guest provides that service more than this individual. Father William Maestri is the director of the Bishop Perry Center. Father, thank you so much for taking time to be on the show. You guys just do such great work, and I'm so happy that we're able to promote and talk about what you do. Talk about the organization and some of the programs you offer, and then we'll get into some of the events you have coming up.
Sure. Well, I'd like to begin by thanking you, Steve, and certainly Cox Communications for being such a tremendous community business and really part of the community and all that you do.
Thank you. Absolutely our pleasure.
Thank you. The Bishop Perry Center, we're completing our first year, August the 1st.
Congratulations.
Thank you, when we started opening. And the center has really grown, especially in terms of our outreach to the homeless, the poor, but also to those who are seeking a better path. Through our GED program, our computer classes, we have been able to offer people a different path, especially those who want to advance, either who already have jobs or who are looking for jobs. And we have some very exciting programs in the work to help with employment and housing, which is a crucial need in the New Orleans area.
And Father, your website is bpc.arch-no.org. We're going to put that on the screen. And all information about the Perry Center can be found on the website. And as far as, I want to say, people who want to help you do what you do, because I know you love to have volunteers. You need money to operate. We're not going to shy away from that. The reason we're doing the show is to talk about that, because you're doing such great work. Talk about some of the programs, because you've got an exciting program coming up on August the 15th that I want you to talk about, because there's a part of this program that's even more important than what the program is, and that's the ID cards. Talk about that real quick.
Well, thank you. And we think that it's very important to establish as much literacy as we can, and it begins with reading. And reading in the setting of a library is very important. So on August the 15th, it's a Friday at 6 p.m., we're going to open and inaugurate, dedicate the library, the St. Catherine of Alexandria. She's the patroness of libraries and librarians. And this is going to be a full-service library. It's going to have two parts. It's going to have the lending and the reading part, but we're also going to have a gathering place where we're going to periodically invite authors, people for readings, but it's also going to be a place where people can read and gather and talk, a kind of Barnes & Noble kind of arrangement. But a very important component is the Bishop Perry Library is able to issue IDs with pictures of the individual on it. This is very important for people who want to travel, who need documents for work and for various benefits that they may need. Without that, it's very, very difficult to make any kind of advance in your own situation or certainly those of others. And this will be a fully lending library, and we're really excited about that, because we think it will serve not only literacy, but also the basic needs of those who may come from the surrounding area. And
then some of the programs that you'll be doing to help others. And again, I think the ID card piece of that is absolutely incredible, because if you don't have an ID card, this is something that's more than a library ID card. This is something that'll improve your life, so to speak.
Absolutely. For example, Steve, we've had people who have come and they have obtained the money to return back home to their family, etc. They don't have an ID. They can't get a bus ticket.
It's unbelievable.
Because you have to have it. If you go try to get a Social Security card, you have to have an ID. In order to have an ID, you have to have a Social Security card. Right. It's very hard to square that circle.
It is.
And that's the dilemma that people find themselves in. So with this, we will be able to issue a photo ID as a member of the library.
That's incredible. And again, that website, we're going to put it on the screen, is bpc.arch-no.org. All information about the Bishop Perry Center can be found on the website. Information about the library event that's going to be on August the 15th. Father Maestri, again, thank you so much for what you do for this community. We are a much better place because of you and the Bishop Perry Center. Please come back. Keep us posted on all the great things you're doing.
I will. And Steve, again, thank you and
welcome.
Cox Communications.
Glad to help. Stay with us. We have one more guest, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Across Louisiana again. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We appreciate it. Our last guest is just someone that this community is so lucky to have. Julia Bland is the CEO for the Louisiana Children's Museum, and I can tell you, if you've not had a chance to get down to the Children's Museum, you are absolutely missing one of the biggest jewels this city has to offer. Julia, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And you were talking the other day about the museum, how the ranking that it has. What was that you were saying? Like it's the #1 museum?
Well, we really consider ourselves the premier resource in the state of Louisiana that's developed specifically for young children and their families and open to the public. And so we do have this unusual position. And we love the family learning environment. We're very hands-on, very interactive. It's not at all like school. It's a lot more fun. And mom and dad and grandparents are along for the ride, as are teachers who come with field trips. But
it's kind of funny. It's a children's museum, but there's just as many parents there having fun.
There are absolutely as many parents.
I call it fun learning. It's just, again, it's a jewel. It's incredible.
Thank you.
I was down the other day, and it's just so great to see the kids and the smiles on their faces and what they do. And let's talk, you've got some big events coming up, and then you've got another project that you're working on that's even bigger. So I want to make sure we have time to talk about that. So let's talk about the events you've got coming up.
So Saturday, August 23rd is our 16th annual Cherish the Children. It's really our premier fundraising event of the year, so it's very important to us financially, but it is a whole lot of fun. And this year we're celebrating the 70s. It's an auction. We will have, the museum will be transformed into a really magical place for the evening. We've got live auction, silent auction, a wonderful DJ, a surprise DJ that's going to be there. Food from Pesh, Capital One is the sponsor of the event. And the planning has been underway for a year, so it's going to be an awesome night.
And this is your premier event.
It is.
It's an incredible event. It is a fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser, and there's a play on words. Cherish the Children, you would think, is, we cherish our children more than anything. But this is an auction that has some fun chairs. So whether they're physical chairs, and I saw 2 wonderful ones come in today to be auctioned off, or they're literal chairs in a dining room for a dinner for 4, or that sort of thing. There are a lot of great auction items. And
Julia, your information is www.lcm.org. We'll put that on the screen. All information on the Children's Museum as far as admission and everything about the museum, but all the information on the fundraiser can be found on that site as well.
Easily accessible on that site. Okay. Yes.
Talk about, you've got a project y'all are working on that is just phenomenal. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, are you talking about our City Park project?
I am.
We have been working for many years to become a stronger resource in the community, and we feel that we have a distinctive role, primarily because we do reach younger children, we do reach families. We are part of early learning and early education. And we have been working for several years to build on the foundation of the museum and really reinvent ourselves. We have some magnificent partners, and this whole effort is part of a relocation and reinvention in New Orleans City Park, the most beautiful place in the city. Absolutely. So we have been working on some very creative, very imaginative plans, and are still fundraising actively for that and have a lot of success to report there. But we're creating a model that is the first of its kind.
I think that's incredible for this city.
It is very exciting. We have some amazing partners, local universities, nonprofit organizations, government agencies, and just really phenomenal support.
Well, I think, again, the website is www.lcm.org. All the information on the museum. It's just a phenomenal place. Julie, we want to have you back on the show again and again and again to talk about activities that are coming up. I just implore you, if you've not had a chance to go down to the Children's Museum, take the opportunity to take your family down there. It's just an absolutely phenomenal place to be. Fundraiser is on August the 23rd.
That's
All the
right.
information is on the website.
Yes.
Best of success on that. Please come back and tell us how that went. And again, you're always welcome back to talk about activities that are taking place at the museum.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being a part of the show. You've been watching Across Louisiana. My name is Steve Sawyer, and we will see you next time.